I am so excited to share that this is my 100th episode. I recorded the full episode before I realized I hit number 100. So I just wanted to take this moment to say thank you so much for following along on this journey. If you've been here since episode 1, 20, 50, thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. To my guests, thank you so much for contributing to the show. Any review, any comment, any rating, it means so much. It amplifies the message of the show. It has been a labor of love, as I always describe podcasting, to build a show. And now I'm building a community of people who are listening, who are ready to show up, to stop hiding in their lives. Happy 100. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. And now we're going to get into the episode. Whoa there. I've been on a little solo episode sabbatical, but we're back. We're here. I'm good. Welcome back to the Visibility Standard. I'm your host, Jazzmyn, and I love a chance to talk about reality TV and the secret lives of Mormon wives, and that's what we're getting into today. A little, life update, because it has been a minute since I've gotten behind the mic by myself. I mean, winter was winter. DC experienced the coldest winter it has ever experienced. I am a DMV native, born and raised, and oh my goodness, 5 degrees, your girl was bunkered. She was in the house. I also just used it as a slow season, more cooking, less consuming, more reading, letting my creativity sit and how I want to show up online. And honestly, I've been having so much fun. I've been getting out more. I'm excited to dive into today's episode. I'm going to be talking all about ambition. And specifically, I love talking about my girl, Whitney Leavitt. I love that she's getting her redemption arc this season. It makes me so happy to see that she got out of a pretty not so great situation and has the support of her husband, and through Dancing with the Stars, and now Chicago is finding a community of people, is finding friends that literally only want to see her soar. Ambition is not always safe. To be an ambitious person, it is not always safe. I am a very ambitious person. I have always saw the goal, see what I want, and I really go after it. And that kind of grit was not something that was taught to me. It was just something that I've always had in me. I will say I've also been in environments where that ambition was not nurtured, that ambition was not welcome. I worked with plenty of supervisors, especially when I worked in this nonprofit agency. I had a supervisor who was like, well, what's the rush? Mind you, I'm running laps around my coworkers. I'm really helping her number. I am working hard for my girl. And so I'm this is all very temporary. And I recognize, maybe in hindsight, I didn't need to express that or make that clear. And I believe that is what has allowed me to stay really present and understand that some situations are temporary. And so I worked with the supervisor, and she's like, I mean, you're so young. What's the rush? And then whenever I found myself asking for more, out of that work environment, it ended up being Do you know how lucky you are to be in this position? There are so many people much older than you who would love to be working in this position that you're in. Okay, so why didn't you hire them? Her and I had a very interesting relationship. I will say she was definitely one of my most influential managers. I think that she taught me the value of good work, double checking your work, whatever you're putting out, make sure it's 100%. She was definitely really hard on me. And in hindsight, I can appreciate some aspects to it, but it also created a rift for my direct manager who she was going through some shit. Homegirl needed a break. But I remember sitting down with her and she was like, "Who do you think you are?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "You walk around here." Again, a little older than me. And so as a result, I really internalized a lot of that. Even going into grad school, there were some people that were threatened. I thought that was mine to manage. And as someone that largely managed various emotions within my family dynamic, I'm like, okay, people are threatened by me. I'm the problem. People are threatened by me, so maybe I need to stay in my place. And so when I look at Whitney Leavitt's story, especially season 1, season 2, her culture, Mormon culture, is all about women staying in their place. It is all about women staying home, taking care of their kids, taking care of their husbands. And so mentally, and she had just had a baby, so mentally she is pushing up against so much of what was ingrained in her. And we're also watching that struggle amongst her friends. I don't think she knew how to articulate it in the same way that I don't think I always knew how to articulate what I wanted as well. I never saw the vision clearly. I just always knew I wanted more. And that can be very uncomfortable for other people to sit with. And oftentimes the response would be, well, isn't this enough? No, it's not. And that is not a reflection on you. It's not a reflection on the opportunity. This is not my ending place. And when I was in grad school, I think that was a big contentious point at different points of my journey, because the end goal wasn't to be in grad school. The end goal wasn't to be in grad school forever or be an intern, or even be someone that solely practices therapy. And so at different points of my work, I didn't always have the nurturing, the environment, the opportunity, the friends, the relationship that nurtured that ambition. So I internalized it as, okay, I'm the problem. And what we see a lot on Secret Lives with Whitney and the women is okay, Whitney is the problem. Whitney is also, again, season 1, season 2, Whitney is projecting out so much. And I think as we look back now, a lot of it was stifled. Maybe some of it was resentment. Maybe it was the expectations that they were placing on her and the lack of fulfillment that she was experiencing. Because now, looking at her journey, her end goal was not mom talk. The end goal was not to dance on TikTok. That was the starting point. That was the catalyst. And she was what better way to bring this vision to life than with my friends? And we even see that with her now, like her bringing in Mark to do Chicago with her. Like, what a full circle to be able to bring up someone that nurtured her ambition, that saw her, that gave her the space to be herself. Like, the narrative was already written about her when she went on to Dancing with the Stars, and he got to know her. Like, how special, like how amazing. And she's even much softer. Like, she has allowed herself to really settle into her life, and you see that. And so I think part of why I talk about Whitney's story so much is because I am Whitney. Like, I am absolutely the villain in some people's narrative. I absolutely have people who are not big fans of me, but that's because I was never willing to compromise my trust in myself. There are moments that I have certainly doubted myself, and there have been moments where it may have felt safer and more comfortable to question myself. But I have always been anchored to this deeper knowing, and now being in a space where I can move through that freely, where I don't necessarily have to live under a blanket of doubt or insecurity, and I am feeling very clear about my goals that I'm working towards. It definitely feels different, and I'm recognizing part of what has caused a lot of anxiety in, I think even in just starting, was taking in a lot of messaging and beliefs that weren't mine, that were projected out onto me. And so I believed that those beliefs were certainly mine, because they were also, like, some of them came from people that I really trusted. And so that is also the piece. Like, when we see Whitney so hurt, season 2, season 3, like, she feels betrayed. And that is such a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching feeling when the people that you think are there to lift you up, to support you, are actually not those people, who are not going to offer that space for you. You realize you have to pivot, you have to regroup in a pretty significant way. And it's why I am a proponent of burning bridges. Because some people are dead weight and they are holding you back. And that's not like good or bad. It just is. And as women too, we are not always supported to be, I think, as ambitious as a man, as clear, as direct in what we want. And so when Whitney was like, I'm coming back because I want to be on Chicago, like, I recently recorded a podcast episode where, like, I feel like we're not, like, as opportunistic as a society anymore. And, like, if you had the opportunity to reach a bigger goal that you have, and you just had to show up to this place, you had to do this assignment, you had to interview, you wouldn't. I think that what is most alarming is that we are more quick to pass judgment on ambitious women versus women who don't necessarily have that drive. And I don't want to conflate one as being better than the other, and I'm not. I think ambition is, like, something that people either, like, really have in them or they don't. But when people are working towards a specific goal, when they are working towards a dream, a vision, it is so fulfilling when that hard work pays off. And I remember I was talking to someone and I was like, wow, like I've been working so hard. I love seeing this come to life. And they were like, well, everyone's working hard. And I'm like, I'm not saying everyone isn't, but what I'm saying is like understanding like I am like trudging a very non-traditional path, and I am experiencing some like major adversity. I had a grad school advisor that I will tell that story another day, but that was like such a journey. My last semester of grad school was hell. Let's just, long story short. But I'm not saying that everyone isn't. Like, but I'm so grateful to be receiving that recognition, and I'm grateful that people want to support and uplift the dreams that I have. And so part of transitioning out of grad school and now into a very different space and allowing myself to grieve that version of myself, to hold space for that part of myself that really felt like they needed to hide. And it's so funny when, I preach visibility. I value the leverage that it offers, but there are parts of me that still fear visibility, and allowing those more vulnerable parts to be seen is something that I am still working on. But it's so rewarding. It just really feels so different when you are in environments, in spaces where your ambition is welcome, it is nurtured, where people want to celebrate you, where people want to see you go as far as you want to. And there's this trust that like you're going to take them along on the ride, like with them. There's certainly a way to honor your present while working towards your future. And what has allowed me to be more present in what I am working on and building is being willing to let go of what I wish could have been. I think a lot of us can relate, whether that's a relationship, a job, an opportunity, saying goodbye to what could have been to allow in what is meant to be, what is going to support that version of us that is driven and moving forward. It also allows you to not have your guard up so high. Again, I notice that softness, that lightness in Whitney that we don't see in season 1. Like, she is living out her most aligned, fulfilling life with a supportive partner, has moved out of Utah, and that you see it in her face, you see it in how she glows and how she talks about the work and the immense gratitude, and she's bringing the people that have supported her along on the journey and lifting them up when she can. And that's all I aspire to do. And so I'm a little more gracious with Whitney's villain era. And typically I think anybody who is pursuing something worth pursuing has a villain era to some degree, because it requires a disinterest in self-abandonment. And there are people that will benefit from you abandoning yourself. There are people that will benefit from you not trusting yourself. There will be people that benefit from you hiding and shrinking and feeling insecure and feeling bad about yourself. those people are certainly out there. And so when you're able to quiet that and just move freely to be present, it's such a gift. And so I'll never stop defending Whitney. I'll never stop supporting, celebrating Whitney. Maybe one day I'll have her on the podcast, send this her way. That is something I'm manifesting. And, you know, for anyone that's listening who has that ambition, it has been quieted, it has been stifled. I promise you, your community, your people are out there ready to support you, to lift you up on your journey. And so, yeah, I think that's all I've got. I am so excited for some of the upcoming guest episodes that are happening. I've really been leaning into my short form content. So if you are not following me on Instagram or TikTok, the support really helpful. Also, leaving a rating, leaving a review really supports the amplification of the show. I'm really excited to be able to have this space this summer. I won't be recording any guest episodes. I will still be dropping a weekly episode, and that's on batching and planning, and we love that for her. I'm going to enjoy my summer. I'm going to, again, focusing more on short form content, spend some time outside when I can. I haven't really taken a long break from recording since I started the show and since I really became consistent. And as it relates to, guests that I'm pitching and really thinking about the direction of the show, I just need a little breather, but you're still going to get some weekly drops. And again, really excited for the episodes. I love to hear people's thoughts. I love to start conversation, but never let someone take you away from your dream, your goal, what you're working towards. It's been placed on your heart for a reason. Follow that, trust that, and understand the environment that is meant to see that grow is out there. Remember, visibility is the standard, and I will see you next week.